I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
Hi, I'm Britt Winter. And I'm Brianna Winter. And we're the Winter Twins. And you're watching The Red Booth Show.
Hi, welcome to The Red Booth Show. On tonight's episode, I have these amazing ladies, the Winter Twins. And they are award-winning authors. So come and join us. So, hey, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, I can't believe I have the amazing Winter Twins here, and you guys have been all over the place doing like ComicCons and all sorts of cons, right?
Oh, yes.
Why don't you tell us a bit about it?
Absolutely. Well, Britt and I were always at the San Diego Comic-Con, but we've also, we've worked over 80 conventions now because we're science fiction authors, and so that's kind of our little community. I guess it's called geek culture, formally.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we're always there. We're always, we have our books. We've written 3 books now, and we talk about our books, and we also teach creative writing as well.
That's fantastic. And your story is so cool because you guys I think your first story got published when you were like 13 years old, right?
Right. When we were 13.
It just goes to show, right? It doesn't matter how old you are.
Exactly. We started writing our first book because we were both dyslexic. And we were in school and being bullied really, really bad. And we had low confidence. And because people have another name for dyslexia, at least kids did at the time, which is called stupid. And other ones that were just horrible. And so that's when you start to believe it when you hear it enough times.
Yeah, when you're the only one in an entire classroom of kids that can't read, you start to get, everyone starts to realize that you're different. And they don't really understand what learning disabilities are. As you said before, you become the stupid one. So we went to our dad and said, we're stupid. We're not going to be able to do anything. We can't read. We're, 12 years old. We're done. And he said, you're not stupid. I'm going to prove it to you. You guys are going to write a book.
And we thought that was the craziest idea ever. But as we started to think about it a bit more, we realized it actually made quite a bit of sense because Britt and I, for as long as we could remember, we're always creating stories together. And always science fiction. We have a passion for storytelling, and we love sci-fi movies and comics. And so at first we used a speech-to-text program, and that's how we started writing. And after 9 months of school and homework, we had a finished book.
Wow. That's such a cool story. It's amazing. I mean, if you use speech to text, like that's also a really good way of doing it, I think,
Absolutely.
And I just have to tell you, I'm a super, I guess you could call it geek culture.
Yeah.
Yes. I love science fiction. I think I was telling them earlier, Dune was like one of my favorite movies.
Dune.
When I was a kid, I would like watch it over and over and make my friends watch it, and they would be like so bored, and I would just be like, "Don't you understand the spice?" And like I'd just be like totally into that stuff.
Yeah.
So I love that because there's not everybody was super into it, but the people who are like it means so much,
It's diehard, and a lot of times people that are really in geek culture love vintage fashion and vintage events and swing dancing. And
right?
There is definitely a crossover because all those Golden Age comics. Britt and I grew up reading Golden Age comics, and we wanted to be superheroes who wore fabulous clothing. So we're still trying to do that. So far,
you do. I've seen. You guys have amazing outfits.
Thank you.
You're like cosplay, all sorts of like sort of like warrior chick and like. And, the vintage, which you look amazing, I just have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun, and we love the veils and the little hats.
This is
We're
us.
having a lot of twins in hats.
Twins and hats.
Now, I just have to tell everybody, I'm actually a mother of twins myself.
Yay!
And my twins, we were talking about this before the show, but you guys were premature, which also my twins were as well, which there's different reasons for that. Sometimes the doctors want you to have the twins early, so they'll go through and induce. But I know you guys had to go through a lot. And do you think that it was a part of like how you were doing in school later? Or did they come back and like want to follow up with you and all that sort of thing?
They, once we were, I think they were just happy that we were alive, since we were born 11 weeks early, and we were 3 pounds, 11 ounces, and then went down to 3 pounds. We weren't breathing, and for the first 5 years, we were in and out of hospitals. So basically, after a month or so, they gave the babies back to back to our parents, and said, all right, take them home. That's it. Make sure to put a heart monitor on them.
Our parents.
And they're like, what?
Our parents are really tough people because of that. And I think that it's really made us appreciate life. And now we're really blessed to be some of the few. There's a very small statistic that after all we overcame, we don't have any medical problems. Because we statistically should be dead.
Yeah, but we made it.
We made it!
Can you explain more about that to me? Like, why would
absolutely.
you? Yeah.
Because we were born early and we both weren't breathing, the day before we actually were born, they got in a computerized oxygen machine. So when you're not breathing, they put oxygen up, and we're like this big. And what happens is, if you do it by hand, most of the time, they turn up too high and the kids become blind.
And have brain damage.
Or have brain damage. So it would just happen the day before, and luckily we didn't have that. And there was a lot of weird things that happened like that that kind of went in our favor, so we were very happy.
So because of technology,
We are
Yeah,
here.
that's pretty cool. And then the connection to your science fiction novels.
Oh, absolutely, because we were so sick when we were young kids. We couldn't be with other kids. It was just each other. So it was always about us and our stories we'd create together. We looked up to these characters in science fiction and comic books because we wanted to be them. They overcame tremendous problems to be super and help other people. And so they became our heroes.
And that's what we wanted to be.
We wanted to be superheroes, so we ended up writing about superheroes.
Why don't you tell us a bit about your first story, the one that got first published?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, our first book is called The Strand Prophecy, and it's in a trilogy called the Strand series. And it's kind of like a sci-fi superhero movie in book form. It's really fast-paced, it's intense, it's in modern day, and it is about a scientist superhero with no powers who has to warn the world about rapidly evolving predatory creatures. Now, our goal with this book is to grab the reader and just drag them through. So by the end of it, they're exhausted.
Like, wow, that was amazing.
Just tons of action and
a lot of great technology.
a lot of great technology. We do really have a passion for technology.
That's amazing. And now you have 2 more books as well. Why don't you tell us the names of those books too?
We have Extinction's Embrace, which is the sequel to the Strand Prophecy in the Strand series. And also, we're going to be releasing a new book soon called PCT, or Perfect Compatibility Test, which it's a dystopian future, and it's science fiction. And here's the fun part. Now, Britt and I, we do have a passion for vintage fashion like you do. So in this universe, it's neo-Victorian. So there's a lot of neo-Victorian fashion and vintage elements to this
That
future
sounds
world.
cool. I like that.
Absolutely, and
We went crazy.
we
That's
really
great.
we went crazy. But it's like a Beauty and the Beast like love story in a dark dystopian future is how we like to kind of summarize it.
Wow. I can already imagine the movie. Now, you guys have done so many things. I know you also do teach people how to do creative writing, and you've won some awards for that too.
Absolutely. So after we overcame our dyslexia to write our first book, and we thought, hey, we want to be real authors, professional authors. So we sent it in for independent awards, and then we ended up winning 8, which led to us becoming national in all Barnes & Noble stores in the country.
Wow.
And then after that, we got our first check-in, and we started talking about it, and we realized that because we started doing these first few events, talking to people, and there were a lot of other dyslexic people out there.
Yeah, and our parents gave us a check and said, it's yours, you worked hard on that book, do what you want. And we discussed it and realized, what if we could help people? What if we can do something more with that? So we started doing a tour called If You Can Dream It, You Can Write It. And we went through school to school using our book money to inspire kids and help their special ed departments.
And we also began to teach creative writing as well.
That is really, really cool,
Yeah.
you guys.
Well, I think it's so easy to be your own worst critic, particularly when you have dyslexia and you're constantly being reminded every minute how, oh, I can't read this, I can't read that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's easy to hate yourself for it and believe the negative things some people tell you.
You need to have something that you can focus on, something that you love. For us, that was writing a book, which also personified everything that we couldn't do.
That's amazing. That's such a dichotomy because of, the situation with your schooling and then going and actually being authors. That's so amazing.
Yeah, we're dyslexic authors. No one expects to hear that.
It confused a lot of people, and that made us happy.
And now you are helping other people too. And you are working on the whole Writers of the Future event.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you've done that a couple of times, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell everybody a bit about that?
Well, unfortunately, because we were 13 when we got our first book published, we didn't do the right Google search and find Writers of the Future.
That is, I think, one of our biggest regrets in our career, because Writers of the Future is such an incredible program. So now we're getting in on it in any way we can.
Yeah, it was amazing. So what people can do, what Writers of the Future is their sole purpose is to discover aspiring writers and foster creativity. Even if you don't win, there's still an incredible network for young writers, even older writers, to come together and help each other out.
I really think it's important to say that writing, it doesn't matter on your age, because everyone comes up to me and gives me, I'm too young or too old. It's like, you know what? I know writers that have made it big in their 70s. I know writers that have made it big when they're teenagers. It doesn't matter. There are brilliant writers at all ages, and Writers of the Future is there to help them get discovered. And the judges, too, are it really are heroes, our favorite writers, and we're so honored to be presenting alongside them April 10th here in Los Angeles. It's like David Farland, or he also goes under Dave Wolverton.
Orson Scott Card.
Kevin J. Anderson, Tim Powers. It's just our heroes.
It's the
Amazing authors.
Yeah. It's the greats in the science fiction and fantasy world that all come together to help people. And they're all at one event. And it's amazing because you can actually meet them.
And they want to meet you. They want to talk to you. They're the ones judging your work. And it's anonymous judging. They don't know who you are. They're just judging your short story. It's free to submit. And even if you just get back critiques from these authors, that's just priceless. I love it when they critique my work, even though it's sometimes hard. It's hard, but it's like, oh, make me better. Or more, just give me attention. I love you.
Haven't you guys been a part of the workshops too that are there?
Yes, actually, we created, I was thinking, Writers of the Future has a workshop they teach the winners. And I started talking with them. I said, there must be a way that we can teach people that don't win or haven't submitted yet. So we actually created a workshop that we just put on a few months ago, and we're planning on putting a new one on over the summer. And we taught with Kevin J. Anderson and his wife, Rebecca Muesta. They wrote the Star Wars books and the Dune books, the new Dune books. And we also taught with Orson Scott Card, which was a dream come true.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, we just sat there and
He's been on the show before, by the way.
Oh, he's so
he was
cool.
on here last year.
Isn't he the best?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Super cool.
We just sat there and just started taking notes. They're like, it's time for you to speak. We're like, no.
No, it's cool. No, it's cool. Just it's cool. It's like, we can't beat that. And we also taught alongside David Farland, who is, he is known for the discovery of Stephanie Meyer in the Twilight series. And he's just, Rune Lawrence is a brilliant series. I highly recommend it. So he's just,
Yeah.
You know what?
so
I just
cool.
have to say something because this is where the actual start of these giant Hollywood movies are. This is it's the creative people like you guys, people who go out and tell the stories, and then they get picked up later. Some people love it. They get made into these huge Hollywood trilogies. There's, the Twilight series. There's so many of these things, and it's all from storytelling. It's all from people
Absolutely.
who decided to sit down and actually put pen to paper. And I just think it's really inspiring that you guys are doing this, especially at your age, because so many people, I think, probably think they're too young or whatever. And it's true. There's people at any age that could do it.
Yeah, I've been hearing about a lot of people think there's some magic age. You go to college and you graduate and then you could start writing. No, the younger you start writing, the better you're going to get. Also, we were just talking to an author yesterday that didn't get his book done until he was 60. But now he's written 4 or 5, and they're very successful.
there's no age limit to being a writer. And even if you started later, you just had all that life experience to add to a richer story.
Totally, I agree.
Yeah, it starts with a story. Movies start with a story. TV shows start with a story. And it all starts with someone saying, what if?
And then spending a lot of hours by themselves or with a couple other people in front of a computer or pen to paper saying, okay, what would this person say? Okay, is this good? Is this realistic? Just it's for hours on end.
I think that's something that you guys have a special, bonus going on for, because you can talk to each other about the story and like bounce things off each other.
Absolutely. I think being an identical twin is fantastic for our writing. And the funny thing is, a lot of people think since we're twins that we'd have identical perspectives, when in reality, we are actually mirror image identical twins. I'm right-handed.
I'm left-handed.
And we have very opposite personalities and interests in some way. We like to say we're like yin and yang, complementary opposites. So when we go into our writing, we bring these opposite things.
Yeah, and everyone said, oh, it must be super easy to write with a twin. It must be easier. We're like, well, do you have problems with yourself sometimes? We're like, well, everyone has problems with themselves. Imagine living with yourself. Imagine another one. Like, what do you mean? Imagine another one of you staring at you and talking to you and reminding you of everything you don't like about yourself all the time. So unless you come to terms with yourself and your twin, you're not going to be able to work with them.
That was awesome.
All right, so I noticed that you guys have these amazing costumes that you wear, cosplay stuff, and you go and travel around to all these special events and things. Do you create your own outfits?
Yes, actually, we design them and then we team up with companies that are small geek companies in geek culture that are really experienced at it. So we worked with Octaviana Corsetry on all of our corsets. And each one of our corsets and outfits has a story behind them. So we have one that is neo-Victorian, cyberpunk, and the corset looks like it's been melted on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's very cool.
So cool.
And we have another one that actually, in our next book, PCT, the cover is a burning rose. So we actually have a burning rose on the corset.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, let me just guess. PCT, does that have to do with matchmaking and love?
Perfect compatibility test. So bingo.
Okay. I like this.
How did she figure that out?
I don't know. It's pretty shocking.
And when is it coming out?
Oh, it's right now I can't say anything because we're the first ones to even tell you about it. You're the first one.
Okay.
Because we love you.
Another exclusive.
Yeah. Hopefully at the end of the year, or fall.
Okay. Well, everybody should just go and follow you on social media, and then they can find out everything about your books and about all of the amazing projects that you do and about your classes. So that would be great. Why don't you just tell everybody where to find you?
Well, you can find us at Winner Twins, WINNER, and then Twins on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
That's really funny, by the way, that your last name is actually Winner.
Yeah.
It is funny.
You were made to be winners.
That's our automatic response to that.
Yeah.
It makes us feel like superheroes.
And believe it or not, by the time the families came from,
Wherever
Germany and then
all these different places. And then they
they
changed it once and changed it again and changed it this time. We ended up with Winner.
I think that's a winner. That's awesome. Seriously. And you did win. You've won awards.
Yay!
Why don't you tell me some of the awards that you've won?
We've been nominated for 3 Benjamin Franklin Awards. We've won how many Ippy Awards again?
We've won Benjamin Franklin Awards, Ippy Awards, Pinnacle Awards.
Pinnacle Awards for our teaching. Yes.
We've won 2 Pinnacle Awards.
We've been doing this a long time. What else have we
We're
done?
on the World Council of Gifted and Talented.
Yeah, they nominated us.
Wow,
I know,
sounds...
we were like the 7th in the world. We count, we're official prodigies. So we wrote them back saying, you must have been mistaken.
We are dyslexic.
You don't understand. We're not prodigies.
Yeah, we're dyslexic.
We're
this,
dyslexic, and they
that.
just said, stop, you're on there now. And they just told us to stop trying to get ourselves disqualified.
And so we ran to the kitchen and we said, Mom, we're prodigies. And she said, that's great. Now go take out the trash.
We said, no, you don't understand. We're on the World Council of Gifted and Talented. She's like, what?
And then she's like, you know what? That's great. After you take the trash out,
Let's
we'll talk
discuss
about
it. We'll talk about it.
And I think that's why we're so blessed to have parents like ours.
She was messing with us, but
That's so funny.
Her sense of humor is awesome.
Well, you obviously have an amazing set of parents and a wonderful mother, so...
we do. We're very blessed.
Twin moms are the best.
Although
Twin moms. Go twin moms.
we give her a very hard time.
We do.
So do my twins.
Yeah.
Yes.
It must be a trait. Twin.
Yeah.
Yes,
trait.
yes, we're sorry. On behalf of all twins, forgive us. We love you doubly. There's double the love here and double the trouble.
And double the college tuition.
It's all worth it. Wow. So after you guys went to the council, did you get to go? Because I'm imagining like in the clouds somewhere. There's like a giant table.
They just
and there's all like the smartest people in the world there.
No, it was all via online.
They just
contacted
nominate
us.
you, and then we're in the brochures that go out to all the 700 scholars, and then we're on the front of the website. But that's all.
We didn't know. They contacted us and say, "Hey, would you be interested in submitting and this and that?" And we're like, "Well, sure."
Actually, they didn't. They
didn't?
They just contacted us and said you already got it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's Britt. Britt does all the and as part of our team. She's more of the business side of it.
I am the business side.
So she takes the phone calls. She takes the
she's
meetings.
left-brained, right?
Yes.
And for me, I'm the one at the ridiculous, meticulous editing. I can do that.
She's a true writer. We put her in the room in her pajamas for a week with the computer. Go fix it! And then we come back. Is it fixed? No? Okay, another week.
And after that second week, I come out. It's done. It's done. Ah, people, sunlight.
We just had that. We just finished another book a few weeks ago. And
People.
Brianna was sitting in her room for 2 weeks.
But I got to socialize with my chihuahua.
It was really funny.
A chihuahua kind of goes with you guys, I just have to say, because
Yeah.
you're
Yep.
5 feet tall.
We have 2 chihuahuas.
Do they match?
Yes.
They're both white. Our goal when we were 12 was to be published authors and to both have our own dogs, and we did it.
And they're both little rescue chihuahuas. I think the rescue part of it. I love rescue dogs. They're the best.
Awesome. You guys are so cool. Seriously. I hope everybody gets to see your story and find out about how you guys have made it through all of the obstacles that you've made it through and come out shining with your amazing stories.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. This is so much fun.
We love you. This is great.
And
I
we
love
got
you guys too.
So much love.
and we got to dress up. I mean, what's
Yes,
better
this
than
is great.
Oh, you guys look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
True pinup style.
Yay.
Definitely. So I would love to hear a bit more about the Strand story.
Absolutely. So our first book is in modern day, and it's kind of dark and gritty, and it's young adult fiction. So you could have a reader as young as 12, or we have a lot of fans that are adults as well. And our main character, Steve Cutter, or Strand as he calls himself later, creates a technology called Strand, which that's not that original, but it's a small nanofiber, which is just a teeny metal string, right? He literally rewires his brain with it, connecting the different pathways together so he could use 100% of his brain. And connected to a technology called the skull cap, he pretty much makes himself into a human computer, so he can think thousands of thoughts at the same time, control technology. He becomes the smartest person on the planet. And then he discovers something rather disturbing. That solar radiation, for reasons unknown until book 3, is causing a rapid evolution or mass mutation. So instead of evolution being a slow process, and it's rapid, and it's caused by moonlight. So you have, let's just say you like to go swimming, right? You can go in swimming, you may grow gills. Or it could also be influenced by your emotional state, which is, very powerful when it comes to dictating our body. So if you're not a very nice person on the inside, that may show.
Ooh.
So we're very comfortable on the top of the food chain as human beings. Like, if there was a giant T-Rex crocodile coming at me, what would I really do to defend myself? Would I claw it with my freshly manicured nails and my gloves? Yeah, that's not going to work. So it's just at the beginning stage. It's a low level of radiation, and it's being covered up by the government. So our main character releases the information online. He goes to the steps of the White House with this incredible suit, right? He creates a suit of armor, hides his identity, and releases the information out, makes a lot of enemies. And it's just one big chase scene from there.
That is super cool.
Thank you.
What made you first think of the idea in the beginning?
Well, we were really inspired by Batman and heroes that used only technology.
As well as X-Men, because it was the evolution portion. And those are the comics that we really enjoyed. We also were big science geeks. So we were reading an article on radiation and how it mutated a frog and had a couple of different legs to it. And it kind of sparked an idea.
And we had these 2 separate ideas, which we molded together and said, what if we have a hero that uses technology to make himself super, to be able to have incredible intellect? And what if we had a rapid evolution where everything changed like this on a mass scale?
So with savants and dyslexia is about your brain is actually wired differently, and savants, different pathways are actually connected. And most of the time, savants, they are really brilliant in one area, and they have other areas they're lacking in. And with dyslexia, it's very similar. If you have dyslexia, you can say you have a really hard time reading, like me, but I remember everything I hear. So we took that idea of different pathways being connected, and we made a technology surrounding it.
So we're really inspired by our own, well, what we thought was our weakness, and tried to create a good thing out of it. So I don't even think we realized it at the time, but I think all authors do this. We take the lives we're living in everyday life, and through our work, we try to understand it better, and to understand ourselves better.
That's amazing, you guys. I can't believe how you have gone through what you have gone through and turned it into something that's a great story, even like inspired by, your things that you've gone through and experienced.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the interesting part. We always thought when we were younger, it's a weakness, it's a bad thing, dyslexia is bad. But now we've overcome it, but we're now dealing with a bad thing. And as we've gotten older, we realize it's not a bad thing, because maybe we have a harder time in some areas, but everyone compensates. And then I think this is with everyone. We all have a hard time in one area, but the human mind is far more powerful than we can even comprehend. As Britt said, she may have a hard time reading a book, but Britt has audio memory like I've never seen. And if you show Britt one time on a piano how to do a certain thing, she'll sit down and exactly copy it. It's disturbing. It's eerie, and I'm envious.
Although when Brianna reads something, she might be a lot slower than the rest of us.
But I remember most of it.
I am so impressed with you guys, and I think that the really cool story that anybody can take from your life and what you guys have accomplished so far is that you can really do anything that you set your mind to, no matter what kind of thing or situation you might be starting with. You can just go out and find a way and go for it.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having us on your show. We love you.
I love you guys too. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to show this episode to my twins. So I think they're going to love it. And my daughter loves Batman and comics and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming today. And I'm definitely going to be keeping track of things with your new book that's coming out. The PCT.
PCT.
PCT. Okay, good. And then hopefully somebody's going to have to pick up the Strain and make it into a movie at least.
That'd be awesome.
We are in the right town for that.
We are.
Point.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks again for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Winter Twins on
The Red Booth Show.